The Victorians used to believe that we all needed outdoor time and space in order to escape the stresses of urban life. I tend to agree. Even in the middle of a town, you can wander around and find all kinds of beautiful, peaceful, natural areas to soothe your soul, and that is especially true along the coast. One of the best things about being outdoors is watching wildlife. Some species, like these wood pigeons, can be seen nearly everywhere you go. You can even find them in the most developed and industrial parts of town. Herring gulls are another species that I encounter time and again. Often I find them in very anthropogenically disturbed areas where they tend to feed off human waste. However, they can also be found in their natural habitat. Magpies have long had a bad reputation, but I enjoy watching them. I like the way they move and how they seem to view the habitat through very intelligent eyes. They're also quite common in urban areas, and in fact, their distribution in these human-disturbed sites is being studied by a researcher at the University of Exeter. Every time I spot a magpie, I contribute to the study by using the Magpie Mapper iPhone app to log the bird's location. It's true that birds are my first love, but I also have a passion for plants, and wildflowers in particular. I've learned a lot of new species since moving to the UK, and being able to identify them makes me feel like more of a resident here. One of the most beloved coastal species is thrift, which forms huge pink carpets along the shore each spring. All of the species shown here are incredibly easy to find because they're located right along the pavement where I walk. Just think about how many more species I could add to the list if I were actually searching. Sometimes a plant is not just a plant, and if you look closely you'll find that it's also home to an insect or two. One thing I never did before moving to Falmouth was go rock pooling or fossicking. Now I often walk down to the shore to see what sorts of treasures can be found in the small, shallow ponds left by the receding tides. If you don't mind getting your hands cold and wet, you can uncover all sorts of species, such as crabs, anemones, and shrimps. Other things are pretty easy to spot from a distance, though, such as these winkles and limpets. One drawback to being on the coast is that it can get extremely windy. This can make life hard for small invertebrates. However, despite the nearly constant breezes, some manage to find sheltered spots in which to feed. Another reason life is hard for bugs is that the area is home to many insectivorous birds, such as this robin. If you pause long enough to watch the animals you encounter, you can see even the commonest species do unusual things. Let's watch this guy again in slow-mo. I used to study birds for a living, and even I'm not sure what that's all about. Birdwatching is particularly exciting during the spring and summer, when you can hear singing adults and also spot this year's young. Here's a juvenile chaffinch who managed to survive our very cold spring. Some species don't like to sit still very long, including this wren, which took flight as soon as I rounded the bend. Another wary species is the buzzard, though I think this one was jumpy because it was in the midst of hunting down a snack. I'm not entirely sure what that buzzard was after, but squirrels like this are generally very high on its list of preferred food items. The squirrels are imports from the US, whereas house sparrows are native here and have been transplanted to North America. Reviled in the US, they are adored throughout Europe. Sparrows are only one of many species that put up with quite a bit of disturbance in their daily lives. Sometimes the disturbance is from humans, but other times it's from the elements, water and wind in particular. But those disturbances are part of what makes the coast so beautiful, and such a lovely place for a walk.